Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So from the title of the video, you can see that today I'm going to be telling you how a baby changed my marriage. Now please note that these thoughts are going to be from my point of view because that's the only point of view I can give. Every relationship is different. So when a baby is introduced, every relationship is going to change differently. Some of the things I'm going to talk about might not be the same in your relationship, but these are just from my experience. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the first thing we're going to look at is time management. Now there are two parts to time management. There is where you have to ensure that you plan ahead, and the next part is putting aside time to spend with your baby. So before having a baby, you could just get up, go. Anytime you have to go somewhere, you could just get up. You have an hour, get dressed, throw on some clothes, fling out, fly out the house, right? But after having a baby, you better believe you got a plan because that baby takes time. You got to plan time to bathe him, to feed him, to get him dressed. And if your baby's on a sleep schedule, you have to ensure that you work around that because the worst thing to have is a grumpy baby. So because when babies miss naps, ooh, it's like the world is coming down. There's nothing you can do. You have to ensure that your child has sleep. And you also have to put aside time for if he has a blowout, if he vomits, and if he messes up your clothes. So you got to make sure when it comes to leaving the house or doing any activity, you have your time set out because you don't want to be late to your events. You got to make sure that you work with your baby and not against your baby. So anytime we have somewhere to go, I make sure that I get things done. I start at least 2 hours before and get myself ready, get him ready. Gotta make sure my husband is ready so that we can all get going. And every time you leave the house, you have to have a mental checklist. Well, I have a mental checklist, but if you can't remember things, have a physical checklist because you gotta put aside times to pack that baby bag so that when you leave and you're on the road, if anything happens, you have everything you need to fix it. So one thing that my husband and I always wanted to ensure is that our son never feels alone. So with time management, we always have to put aside time to spend with him, especially when he's awake. Well, specifically when he's awake, because when he's sleeping, you can't really spend time with him. So what I do is that, like when I'm at home, like today I'm at home, I'm not working, I would work around his schedule. I film my videos around his schedule. If I have a nail set to do, I do that around his schedule. So I get him ready, I bathe him, I feed him, and I clothe him, and then he goes down for a nap. He always takes a nap after he bathes. So that's what I do. Once he's sleeping, I do what I have to do. So when he's awake, I could spend all the time in the world just playing with him and laughing with him because that brings joy to me. And then in the afternoon, the two of us would nap together. So I try to do things in the morning and early afternoon so that we could cuddle and sleep together. So it's really important for your child's mental and physical development for you to put aside time where you are spending with that child. And that's what I'm doing. I always try to put aside time just to spend one-on-one with him. So, even though he's a baby, I say my alphabet and he looks and he mumbles. I count with him. We sing. We enjoy ourselves. Oh my gosh. I just love spending time with him. Like, I want to do a video of what our day is like together, but it's like I don't know if I want to put him out in the public like that. Let me know. Like, I don't know, but I'm going to think about it and I'm going to see about doing that video. But it's really important for you to put aside time to spend with your child because you don't want that child to feel alone and you don't want that child to feel like nobody cares for them. You have to spend time with your child. Another thing with time management is, now that you're a parent, sometimes your life can just be divided into work, being a parent, but you also have to put aside time for you. It's hard being a mother and a father, so you gotta take some time for you because you're just gonna run yourself ragged and your child is not going to benefit from that. Manage your time so you have time for you. Now, prior to having a baby, we all used to buy lunch. We used to go on dates, helter skelter. You just used to pick up yourself one night and just go about your business. And, having a savings wasn't your biggest priority because it's just the two of y'all. What you gonna save for if you're getting paid every month? You're living paycheck to paycheck. But the thing is that when you have a child, so many things can happen. So you have to have a savings. You have to have some type of budget that you're sticking to that includes a savings account, or not even an account. You can just have your savings put to the side. Children are expensive. They need food, which they grow out of very quickly. They need, wow, did I say food? They grow you know what I mean. They need clothing, they need food, they need medicine, which is expensive, especially when you have a sick child that you constantly have to be going to the doctor for. Yeah, it gets expensive. So for my husband and I, we had to have a savings. We specifically have a savings that's just for our son now, because in case of anything, there is money there, and that's money that we don't trouble, because we don't look at it as ours. We look at it as his, because that is for him, and it would be wrong of us to take his money. And then when people come and they give you money for your child, that's not your money. That is your child's money. So don't touch it unless it is for your child. What I'm saying is that if you are pregnant or you're planning on having a baby soon, please start saving, because that is going to be really helpful when that child comes. So when it comes to communicating, it's really important that you and your partner have something figured out, because communicating is not just beneficial for you and him or her. It's also beneficial for your child, because when you can communicate healthily, your child is going to learn how to communicate healthily, not only with you, but with others. So my thing is, when I'm angry or frustrated, I lash out. I shout, I get upset with my husband, and all he does is, since our son has been born, is pick him up and leave the room and leave me in my frustration. When I calm down, I would apologize. That's one thing. I'm not going to go without apologizing, because I know I'm in the wrong when I lash out like that and not communicate properly. So when I calm down, then we would be able to have a proper discussion. I'd be able to say how I feel, and I'd be able to let him know where my frustration came from. And that way we'd be able to work out our problem. So before my husband and I got married, we used to argue non-stop. Oh my gosh, we were terrible. Then when we got married, it's like, oh, you could do no wrong. I love you so much. When you're in the honeymoon phase, the other person is just perfect in your eyes. Yes, they do things that annoy you, but no, you can deal with it. You can deal with this. Then you find out you're pregnant. Oh, you're so joyful. You start discussing, when the baby's here, we're gonna do this, and this is how we're gonna care for him or her, and we're gonna be so perfect. We're gonna do this as a union. But let me tell you something. When that baby comes, it's a different story. When that child is born, it's like something just happened. I don't know what happens, but something happens where both of you think that you know better, that you know what's best for this baby. So you start questioning the other person, like, you sure this is what you're supposed to do? I don't think this is the way you do it. And this is where the arguments start. This is where the communication just flies through the window. Because when I feel like you're questioning my ability to be a mother, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to try and lash back, like, but you see, when you do X, Y, and Z, I never tell you nothing, and I don't think this is the right way. And then that's where the bickering and the arguments start. Because both of you think that you know better than the other person. You have to stop. And this is something that I'm trying to work on. Stopping, taking a breath, and discussing what the actual problem is. Okay? So I think we should do this. Let the other person listen to you. And I could do a whole video on communicating. I could do a whole video on communicating in a marriage while being parents. But let me know if that's something that you're interested in, because I don't know if people really talk much about it. I haven't checked, but I don't know. But it's really important to learn how to communicate with each other, and that is something that we're trying to navigate, because I'm still trying to figure out how to communicate with my husband, because you don't want to be having blowouts in front of your child, but you want to show your child what a healthy relationship looks like. Yes, healthy relationships have argument, but they also know how to get over those arguments, how to fix that problem healthily. So that's something I'm trying to learn so that we can teach our son. romance slash intimacy. What happens after having a baby is like sometimes you no longer see your partner as your lover, but you see them as a mother or a father. You no longer see them as your wife or your husband, or your partner. It's like your vision has changed completely. And that is something that I have been working with. So as parents, you have to take time to not just be parents anymore, but you have to take time to be lovers, because you don't want that love to die. You have to show your child what it means to be in a relationship, because if you no longer see each other as lovers and you just see each other as parents, then there's no love to be shown. And once you focus your entire life on your child, that is all your child is going to see, that, oh, when I'm in a relationship and I have a child, it's no longer about my partner, it's now just about my child. And that's not the kind of perception you want your child to have in a relationship. You want them to see how, even with big life changes of having a child, you can still love each other and you can still have fun. So remember, take time away from being parents, completely forget about being a parent, and work on being lovers. That's what at least I'm trying to do. Work on being a lover. What happened to me is that after having my son, like, my mind did something, and it said that my body was no longer mine. It said that my body is now my son's. And yes, I know my son has to take nourishment from me, and I think that's where it stemmed from. That, I grew this child in my uterus, I brought him into this world, and now he suckles from me. That sounds so weird. Oh my god. But so it's like my body is just for his benefit. When I was intimate with my husband, it's like my mind was telling me that I'm cheating on my son and that I'm doing something wrong, even though I wasn't doing anything wrong, but in my mind it was telling me that I was doing something wrong. So that's something I have struggled with, and something that I'm still working through, where I'm telling myself and I'm telling my body that this is my body. Yes, my son may depend on it for nourishment, but in the end, this is my body and I can do with it what I may. And I am young, I am beautiful, my husband adores me, and this is my body to share with my husband and to share with my son. But it is my body and it no longer belongs to, it's not my child's body to do with it whatever he may. So that's something I'm struggling with. And the thing is that this comes from after having a baby. Your body kind of shuts off to any kind of sexual activity, because it doesn't want to go through that traumatic event of being pregnant again and going through labor and delivery again so soon. At least it needs time to heal. So that's what happens to a woman's body. It's like it just shuts off and it says, no, don't touch me, I don't want it, just stay away from me. But this is something I'm working through, and that's something that you're going to have to work through day by day. More and more you're going to have to work with your partner, and your partner is going to have to be patient with you, because it's not something that could just go back to normal like that. It is something that takes time. So when it comes to intimacy, it changes. The frequency and the feeling that you have during it changes. It takes time to go back to feeling pleasurable like it did before. So know that that's something that you're gonna have to work through, and it's okay. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It is okay. Just remember, take time away from being a parent and be lovers, because you want as you grow as parents to also grow as lovers. You want to continue to love each other, because when that love dies and all you have is parenthood, that's when things are gonna fall apart. So take time away from your child and just be lovers every once in a while. So this brings me to the end of the video. All the things I said in this video are just from my point of view. I'm not saying that my relationship is perfect, because we are far from it, but I'm just giving you advice and telling you things that we're working on to improve as parents and as lovers. We're trying to work back to the place that we were before becoming parents, so that we can just be better people for our child. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends, your family, your best friend, and your enemies. Okay, that is all. Have a faithfully blessed day. Let me know what other videos you would like to see. This video really took something out of me, like, to be so vulnerable. I could be more, but you know, we're going a little step every day. So that's why it took so long to get this video up. But that is it. I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.